The following discussion is for entertainment purposes only and should not be considered any kind of financial advice. Hey everybody, Chris here from the Jump Pod, and today's episode of the podcast is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to present for you right now our Founders Corner that we had as a Twitter space earlier this week. It's packed with lots of good information, namely about the first drop of our first hero character NFT, Reyu. It's a free mint happening in January. We have all the details. Wyeth and Tony are co-founders, went through everything you need to know about it. So we'll just go ahead and roll that now. It's the entire Founders Corner from this week. We do these Twitter spaces, Founders Corners pretty often. So join us on Discord and follow us on Twitter to learn about when the next one is. And we'll be back with a regular episode of the Jump Pod next week.
Hey guys, look, we're really excited to be jumping on this space with some very, very intelligent people, including our co-founders of Unioverse, Sam, Chris A, Ice Knife, and Johnny. We're covering all things Unioverse, but we have a huge update for you guys, of course. In the tagline, you see how to get whitelist for Reyu. It's a huge, huge info drop today. So I want to kick it over to Sam and Chris A. They'll be directing this conversation with Ice Knife and Johnny. And as we have this open forum discussion to talk all things Reyu and how we're moving forward with our community collectibles in the Reyu Mint. So without further ado, let's start it off.
All right. Hey, this is Chris with the Unioverse and super excited. We're just going to jump right into it because we got a lot to cover today. Before we get to our awesome guests. First off, Wyeth, I'm going to direct this to you. Let's not bury the lead here. Over on the Unioverse blog today, that's unioverse.com/news, we announced the mint date of our first Unioverse hero character NFT. What do people need to know about that, Wyeth?
Okay, so yeah, we announced that Reyu's coming out the door on January 8th, and there's also a link to see some of the work in progress we're doing on his rarity models. But put a pin in that because I think by the end of this month or very soon thereafter, we're actually going to have a downloadable executable, and you'll be able to, in our game engine, move through the entire collection just like you see on that screen recording. So we really want people to understand the last little bit of Reyu's development, his rarity model, and how amazing these 20,000 Reyus look. It's going to be a free mint. They are going to mint to ETH. There'll be a little bit more complexity to that we'll talk about in coming months or in the coming weeks that describe how we're going to avoid gas wars and some other minting issues. But yeah, it's going to be on ETH. There's dozens. There might be up to 50 visual characteristics for Reyu. It's kind of bonkers. So there's actually millions of potential combinations for him. You'll see that in the diversity of the set. So this 20,000 is just the sampler of what is actually possible with him. Look on that page, read the link that hopefully someone pinned to Discord here, or I'm sorry, in Twitter, that talks more about that. And take a look.
Just to recap, January 8th, Reyu Genesis, the first Reyu batch coming out on ETH. Tons of different visual characteristics. So people just mark your calendar, January 8th.
Yeah, and just to reiterate that real quick, Chris, we do have the tweet link, right? The link to go to the unioverse.com/news, how to get Reyu, pinned in the Twitter space. So go ahead and check that out where you're listening.
Okay, so now we know when. Wyeth, let's walk. What? Excuse me, I'm still getting over this cold. Wyeth, what's a Pro 10? What can people earn? How can people earn them, and why are they important? This gets into the. We know when the drop is going to happen. Now let's talk about how people can get their Reyu.
So Pro 10s are literally a Unioverse concept for something like a battery or a kyber crystal that powers, lightsabers and Star Wars. It's that sort of thing. The fiction around them I won't really get into, but you'll see that described in the coming the stories that are being dropped by Brent into Discord. So I think they haven't been mentioned yet, but I actually think they're mentioned in the next one. And then you'll hear, from a storytelling point of view, why they're interesting. Now, from a mechanical point of view, which is probably what everyone's more interested in at this moment, if you collect Unioverse collectibles, you're going to earn Pro 10s. You're actually earning Pro 10s right now, even though you don't see that. That is teased on that same link. And I have previously, if you go back into my tweets, you'll see a link to a wireframe of the site that's going to be coming out soon that shows you how you gather Pro 10s. But really what those are is a mechanism to turn engagement, your engagement, the community engagement of collecting, into a currency that they can then spend to buy a Reyu. So when people ask us what our whitelist is, it is really collect these free Ryus or collect these free collectibles, earn protons. Again, you'll see that site, and you'll be able to start clicking a button and earn your protons for what you're holding, and then you'll be able to use that to buy a Ryu. So on that mint date, if you have enough protons, you get to buy one. I think that's the gist of what you need to know.
The TLDR is we're steadily dropping these Unioverse collectibles. We've already done a few and released them out into the world. They're free. You get the collectibles. The more collectibles you have, and the more you hold them, the more protons you earn. Correct?
That's exactly right, and I assume everyone listening in knows this, but we're in the middle of a drop right now, and we're in the claim period right now, and I just got a report that we're past 6,000 claims. So you guys are doing it.
Yeah. So it's
Over
free.
6,000 in
These
an
are
hour? Wow.
yeah.
No, in 7 minutes.
In 7 minutes.
Oh, 7 minutes.
Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, if you just join this and your favorite influencer, your favorite person that you follow is in here, right, or a project that you're interested in, go and check our Twitter thread, right? Johnny posted it, we reposted it. It's our claim window. That claim link is live for the next couple of hours. So go get your free collectible and mint that now. It's still live.
Yeah, these are free collectibles. They're super cool looking. They've got bits of concept art that we've been working from, literally that we at the company have been working from, along with a little bit of the lore. So they're really pretty amazing. And I think that helps segue into kind of how the Unioverse is sort of what we're trying to do with NFTs. So Tony, I want to kind of turn it over to you. Right now, we're trying to build sort of we're still coming up with like the right name for it, right? But like the next generation of what an NFT can be. I mean, Ryu looks amazing. Our collectibles look amazing, but they aren't just pretty to look at. Can you explain a little bit about the utility that Ryu, because Ryu is a hero. So we've been doing Unioverse collectibles, right? And then Ryu will be our first hero. Can you explain a little bit about the utility Ryu brings and why people will want a Ryu?
Yeah, it's important to understand that the NFT market is evolving, and we have this kind of first generation of the NFT market, which is essentially JPEGs, pretty pictures. We share them. You're part of the club, et cetera, et cetera. But our vision goes way beyond that. We see that the market moving quickly to NFTs with far more utility. So our concept that we came up with last year, and we've been working really hard with, we're from the games industry. We're not crypto people kind of playing in the game space like some of the early stuff. We're actually game people, trying to match up and work with some of the best crypto minds in the world as well to create something very unique. So our characters are heroes, and our first hero that we're releasing is Reyu. And Reyu is, what's really awesome about Reyu is that it's a full 3D model, fully animated, can drop into a 3D environment. Developers that use their SDK, Reyu can go from one game to the next game to the next game. It's fully interoperable within the Unioverse, which is a pretty revolutionary concept. People talk about this in the metaverse. No one's really pulled it off. We have pulled it off. If you use our SDK and it's within the Unioverse, our heroes will go drop into any of those games. So it's very cool. Instead of collecting a little piece of artwork that you can look at, you actually will collect a full 3D model character that's unique to just you. You are the only one that will have the one that looks like that, and you can drop in and play in a 3D shooter or in a racing game, or drop into a nightclub with your Ryu and hang out for a while. So it's a pretty revolutionary concept. We have 25 of the best artists from writers from Star Wars to Dune, from just Clone Wars, Walking Dead, just writing an amazing story for the Unioverse. And we have some of the best concept artists in the world. We're going to build the first set of games to ensure that the concept working, and we're releasing video and continue to release more and more video of our initial game, so you can actually see Ryu just actually in a 3D environment, running around, wall jumping, climbing, sliding, etc. So it's, this is really, the next generation. We'll coin a term for it pretty quickly, but kind of the initial generation is, kind of the JPEG NFTs. And what we're working on is a new generation that is fully animated 3D NFTs. Ours are heroes that can just drop right down into either a game or a 3D environment.
Yeah, it's almost like an NF 2.0. Haha, see what I did there?
Yeah.
Well, what I want to do here, I want to make sure that I reinforce this so that people understand, because so Ryu is a hero NFT, right? It's fully 3D rendered, super cool looking, right? One, it is something really cool to look at, but it's also how you access games. So once you have a hero, you'll be able to access any Unioverse game that comes out, right?
Yeah, it's your admissions ticket to the game. Without a hero, you do not get to play Universe games. So
But
this
the
is
flip side of that is once you have one, you can play. You have access to all of them.
you have access to all of them. You can hold on to it, and you can collect series of them. You can sell them. It's on the blockchain. We can store kind of historic moments that you've achieved in various games. We can attach those to your hero as well. Um, it's it's uh, it's very exciting. Without a hero, you don't get access. You don't get to jump into our various games. With the hero, some games may require a set of hero. Maybe it takes 4 heroes to play game, so you'll have to go out and collect 4 of these heroes to play particular games. But it's we're also giving away all of our code to the community. It's really important to understand that this is a community-owned franchise. We don't own the franchise. We've given it to the community. We're allowing other developers to come in and develop games using our assets. We want people to work with our SDK so that our heroes are interoperable with their game as well. Just think, for a small developer to be able to get millions of dollars worth of assets and heroes and get a community of 1 million players that are excited to look for a new game to go drop in their hero into. Um, it's a very revolutionary concept. I can't say it enough. This is your project. It's not just, we're developing these heroes and the stories and everything, but we've literally given it all away to the community, and you guys own the franchise.
Yeah, I think there are a couple other things just to tack on. One, so you could literally, take your Unioverse, if you get a Ryu, make a T-shirt out of it, make a cool T-shirt out of it, sell it. Right? We're not going to stop you. Go
We,
ahead.
we're encouraging you.
Yeah.
So we're encouraging you to pirate take all of our stuff and do whatever you want with it. Whether it's making a game, taking our soundtrack, using it for something, taking our characters, making your own comic books, printing them, selling them. You can do all of that royalty free. You own these assets. We've created some very unique terms of service to allow you guys to use these in just about any way you want to use them. And I think it's gonna be real. I'm gonna be excited to wake up every morning just to see what the community's developed. If you join our Discord channel, we're already doing community projects. They designed the first T-shirt that we have. They're going to be contributing to our game and our concepts as well. So this is a fun project to follow along. We're giving work in progress all through the entire project. We're working on a trailer right now. We release animatics of that. We'll have talks with people working on it. You get to see how the whole process is done from development to marketing of this project.
I think that.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, just tagging, sort of following up on that, because what we did last week was released some videos that we want to make sure everybody understands that we are hard at work making this thing a reality. And so we have this thing that we call the danger room, right? But you can see the Ryu character and another one coming up, Krisha. It's very early footage, but you can see them, like you were talking about earlier, running, dodging, jumping, wall running. You can see these characters how they would play in a game environment.
Yeah, I mean, our background, Wyeth and I founded this company. Why we've been both making games over 20 years. Wyeth has made some of the best licensed property games of all time. I've worked with Nintendo and beyond, so everything from Donkey Kong Country to Killer Instinct to Crackdown, APB, and I was the president of the company when we launched Grand Theft Auto. So we know how to make games, and so the key is we're going to make fun games. We're going to entertain our community. We're going to create the most utility for an NFT that has ever been created to date. And we want others to follow us, and we'll do everything in our power to make it easy for others to go this direction as well. The NFTs should have phenomenal utility. They don't just need to be a picture and a membership to a fan club. They're very powerful, and I think the gaming industry is moving this direction. It's going to move very fast. I believe we're a leader in it. We're just trying to show you that all the things that can be done with a character. And people talk about metaverse and everything, but the bottom line is someone's got to make something great, and it's got to attract a lot of people. We think that we have that project.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of having like your lore, like your personal battle history into your character, I think is really interesting. I know we've got a couple of really great guests that we want to get to. So what I want to right now is transition. You heard everybody, you've heard everything that's going on with the Ryu hero character. Wyeth, what should people do now to prepare for January 8th? Again, the mint for the Ryu hero character is January 8th. There'll be a 20,000 supply for this particular Ryu. What should people start doing now that are listening to this space?
I really don't think people understand, because we are doing a few things that are quite different. But it really is as easy as just pay attention to what we're doing, engage, collect these collectibles as they drop. Some of the windows are going to be pretty short. This 6-hour one is pretty generous, but you'll see that there are all sorts of different times of the day. Collect those things, listen, and help us evangelize the product. The bigger the community grows, the happier everyone's going to be about the value of owning this IP in the public domain. So, jump in the Discord, follow us on Twitter, and participate and help us spread the news. We will give you all the content you need, to drive that message of how amazing this vision is.
And one of the ways we're going to make this vision even more amazing is with some special collaborations. Am I too old to say the word collab? I probably am. But I want to hand it right now over to Grant, who's also at the Unioverse. Grant, can you help us bring on our special guests?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Two good friends of mine and now friends of the Unioverse, which is awesome. We have Ice Knife, the man, the myth, the legend, the gaming expertise, the former FaZe member, which is awesome, right? So, Ice Knife, go and introduce yourself, and then we'll follow up with Johnny, man.
Yo, I mean, you kind of just did it right there. I don't. Not much else to say. No, I appreciate it though. Appreciate the love. Happy to be here.
Don't be humble, bro. Give us the full personal shield.
Nah, that was it. He nailed it. That was it. I can't do better than that.
Ice Knife is a very close friend of mine, and we've known each other for quite some time, especially coming from the Solana space and trying to get through the blockchain gaming side together. So great to have him aligned with the Universe. I think he's a great asset to us. And then, of course, man, someone I've met recently and I've just grown to love. Someone like me and Brian Clark and Sam, kind of a young buck and bull in the game. Johnny over at These Things of Ours and Crypto Banter. Johnny, dude, pleasure to have you on. It's our second time chatting on a space, and I absolutely love chatting with you the first time.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me back on the spaces, and excited to chop it up. And host the show on Crypto Banter, founder of This Thing of Ours, Crypto Gaming Collective, and then just gaming junkie. I can't say I was in FaZe, but I did spend about 6 years, grinding tournaments, esports, all that good stuff. So I definitely relate to that. That's where me and Grant really hit it off.
That's right. Yep, the whole Warzone connection. And then we have a unexpected influencer that jumped up. Fast. Yo, Fast, man. How have you been, man? We didn't know you were going to be on here, but I wanted to pull you up. We've been in some Twitter spaces together before, me and my personal account and you. So, Fast, if you want to introduce yourself, man, great to have you up here.
Hey, guys. It's Fast. Thank you so much for respecting the hand. I just saw Iced in here, man, and I just wanted to come and meet my favorite influencer.
Bro, can you kick him, bro? What is he doing here, bro?
Dude, I knew this was gonna happen. Fast, you're more than welcome to stay up, man. You're awesome. I always have fun with you on spaces. If you have any questions, man, you'll be up here. You can ask away. Unless we get too many.
What's your main account?
It's Grant Web3. I'll hit you with a DM. Don't worry, we know each other from some other spaces with Frank. All right, well let's kick it off. Is there look initial reactions? Ice, Johnny, whoever wants to go first. Ryu 20,000 January 8th. Collect collectibles, earn protons, use those protons to mint a Ryu. How you guys feeling?
I'll go first. I think, whenever you get into the details of everything and the level of quality and the fact that it is a free mint, I mean, I think it's undeniable that that's such a high value proposition to the space. And then with the product that you guys are building and that are going to deliver, I'm super stoked about it. I'm sure that we'll both have some questions about, some of the ins and outs of the characters and stuff like that. But off of initial approach, like some people would hear 20,000 and probably be like, run away or red flag, but it's a free mint. It's a gaming project. There's nothing like you want higher supply. You want more users. You want more skins circulating in the economy because why not? So I completely understand that, especially when it's basically free to play at the fact that it's a free mint. So that's my initial reaction. And I think that, everything is very top tier.
Yeah, I'll mimic a lot of what Johnny just said. There aren't many, I guess games that are coming into Web3 that have the experience, that have the team, and have all the resources available to actually make their game attractive to not only gamers but people in Web3. I think this has a pretty real shot at that. I'm a huge fan of I played many games, like anything from like mobile games to console games to anything on the PC. I'll literally play checkers, bro. Played Call of Duty, played RuneScape, played Grand Theft Auto, Halo, like all first-person shooters, lots of third-person shooters, and yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
I love it. Why don't you touch on that, right? Johnny brings up a good point. 20,000 supply. That is, it's a good number, right? It's a good size amount of number. Why don't you explain what the thought process is on that and why it does affect the Unioverse franchise as a gaming chain?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. So, look, the problem we're solving is one of driving, 5 million gamers into a whole bunch of different games into the Unioverse, right? So our vision of everybody needs an avatar to play, it has to be a scaling model. So this 20,000, they're going to have a special metadata property, but you'll see that Reyu comes from a set of 100K characters, and that set won't expand, but we will, drizzle out additional mints of Reyu up to that number as our audience grows, and make sure that we have a model that can actually scale to millions of gamers playing our games. You need a Reyu if you want to play in Reyu. As I think Tony was mentioning, some of our games could be like a LOL or a team-based, squad strategy game, and you might need 5 or 6 characters in a team, to play something like that. So what we're trying to do is engage the community now, give everybody overwhelming value, paint a picture for our developers on how, this entire system is going to work. And, when you see Krisha come out later in 23, when you see the other characters start dropping, it'll be a similar pattern of, some sort of initial mint, some super rares in there. But the whole mechanism is going to scale. We're doing something that's scaling over the next decade. So we need to nail that.
Makes sense. And I think, like I said, it's all justified once you get into the details of the collection, because I think most people, just in the NFT space, right, not gaming space, that's the difference here, right? We're
exactly right.
We're trying to build you guys are trying to build an ecosystem here, and Web3 gaming in general is why I was saying the whole ecosystem needs to be off the game, and the NFT technology, the skins, the aspect of actually being able to own your assets should just be a layer on top of it. So yeah, that's first and foremost, and I love that.
Hey, Johnny, you're welcome to say we. This is our project. We are literally, driving all the value back to everybody. And as I think Tony mentioned, we have this creator track where some of the coolest stuff being assembled in our community right now is being done by community members.
Fantastic. No, I love it. And that's what Web3 provides, right?
Yeah, this is Tony. It's an awesome opportunity for us to reach out directly to the community. We could go raise funding. If I want to make another game, I can go to one of the publishers and say, hey, give me X number of $1 million. I go make you a game. They own the franchise. They get rich off it, etc. What we decide to do at this point of our career is just to try to do something different. Try to reach out to the community, make it very fun for them, gamify how they can get these characters. These characters will become valuable because they're the only way you can get into our particular game. Reach the community and help the community help fund the project, and in turn, then the whole value of the project gets turned over to the community. So it's a way for the community to actually own the project. They'll own the assets, they'll own all the characters. So if they build up a character and sell it, they make the money off it. We just make a small royalty off the exchange. But it's a way for the community to own one of our franchises. I've done Donkey Kong Country and Killer Instinct and Crackdown and APP with amazing teams. None of us own any of those projects. They're all owned by Sony, by Microsoft, by Take-Two, by Activision, et cetera, et cetera. And they just keep milking these and they make money off them, more and more money. This is a chance for the community to get involved, to get in very early, to get some valuable pieces of the puzzle for the Unioverse, and to help build this project and hopefully make some good money off it as well.
One thing that Johnny we spoke about real quick, and that I just think that we should touch on, is the ownership aspect, right? And we kind of were talking about it right now, but on our podcast that Wyeth and I did with you on Crypto Banter, the idea that you get to actually own this Reyu, right, and take this Reyu to game to game to game to mini games, right, and actually own this. Like, Johnny, how and Ice, I guess these are questions for both of you guys. Like, how important is that to the future of Web3, and how is it different from what we've seen before, right?
I'll go first once again, and then I'll let Ice take it. But this is just so recent on my mind, because I remember the other day I went back, or it was about a month back at this point, 2 months back, and I went and saw that I have 18 pages of transactions on Activision Blizzard, and that's just basically off Warzone alone. Because like the old CODs, like the OG CODs where I was really grinding, they didn't really have microtransactions like that. They were like map packs back then. They weren't selling like full-blown Spider-Man skins in games back then. So, things have really changed. And I think that whenever you put those games down, they don't transfer to the next title. Call of Duty puts out a brand new title every single year. You don't take those skins that you bought in Warzone now, luckily you do. But now they did Warzone 2, I believe. So I don't know. I believe maybe all those have just been left behind. So they might have just done a complete recycle of the system and dump people's skins, and they don't own them anymore. So at the end of the day, I just think the ownership aspect, being able to bring them game to game, is very crucial. I mean, what's the point of having an ecosystem if you don't actually have those assets interoperable between, the universes of the games? And especially if it's the same, I understand, like, if an Infinity Ward and a Treyarch or something don't want to completely, like, interoperate their characters, but at the same time, all Infinity Ward games should have, like, interoperable skins. All XYZ studios should have interoperable skins, in my opinion. But no, I think it's a fantastic solution.
Yeah, I think having those types of in-game skins. I mean, the first time I ever really bought something, I tried not to for a long time, but like, I remember, the first time I ever bought a skin was on Fortnite. So I bought like the season pass, and then I'll buy, you'll be able to unlock certain shit, right? And then customize your player. But yeah, I think a lot of people really, really love to customize their characters, and also knowing like you have a rare character, obviously would increase the value. I know people that were selling Fortnite accounts for, hundreds, thousands of dollars, with certain rare skins that came only on like holiday events, and eventually sometimes like they'll pop up in the store and you can rebuy them, but people pay for that stuff, and people really love that stuff. And yeah, I think it's really cool.
Hey, Grant, if you don't mind my jumping in here just real quick, just to recap, because I think another interesting aspect to this is just what we talked about earlier, just the lore aspect. So if your Ryu is at like the Battle of Proten Pass or whatever, and that's written into the blockchain, it opens up a whole new kind of storytelling experience, because you're not just with this character, you're creating a history for this character that you could turn around and like create a story about, or a comic book about, or something, right? Like, that's just such an interesting new dimension, I think. And I'd wonder if our guests, what they thought of that, just sort of adding this, I don't even know what to call it, because it's not a third dimension, but it's almost like a fourth or something, just this ability to create a history with a character.
Hey, Chris, let me frame that just a little bit more. I actually think some of the parallels that people currently have with their relationship with their Xbox account, where your Xbox account has accomplishments, has things that it's accomplished in different games. If you transfer that thinking onto the avatar, then each of your avatars becomes very interesting, right? So like, one of your avatars could have won the battle for Yavin in some, Star Trek or Star Wars Battle Royale or something like that, and actually develop a career and these events. And yeah, it unlocks all sorts of things that don't exist in the gaming space currently.
So essentially, you could strap a memory card to your character instead of the
Exactly
console.
right.
Yeah, and as I said, it's a very simple concept. Like, if a season 1 asset becomes unattainable ever again, of course it's going to be completely rare whenever season 8 comes around, and people can never get their hands on that skin. It's like in Warzone, it would be the level 100 skin. I remember at one point there was one skin that was like super overpowered. It was the Rose skin. It was like an all black suit. It was really hard to see in like the shadowy areas, and people like that didn't get it were buying accounts to get it. Like that's definitely something I've seen happen as well.
Yeah, this even goes back to, and this will resonate with you, brother. Like, this still happens, not as frequently now, but like when Fortnite was still early on, they didn't drop skins as frequently.
So maybe we should go over the basics one more time for people who are just joining us. Wyeth, can you reiterate sort of what we covered in the first part of the show today? Our first hero character drop is happening January 8th. What are the details people need to know?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, we're up to 9,000 claims so far. We are currently doing a drop or a claim period for one of our Unioverse collectibles. So collect those, and there's a pinned link that kind of describes how this whole system works. But if you collect our collectibles that are completely free, they're minting to poly, we're paying the gas. All you have to do is be paying attention when those windows open up and collect them. Then you will start immediately gathering these protons. Basically, the longer you hold a collectible, for everyone in your wallet will give you a proton a day, roughly speaking. And then when Reyu drops on January 8th, if you have enough protons, you get to buy one. If you have enough protons for a couple, you can buy a couple. But it really is about turning our community's time and attention, which we value. The thing that you are giving to us is your attention, and your attention makes this franchise more valuable. So we're letting you turn that attention and that energy spent. Maybe some of these people are waking up at 3 a.m. to do a claim. That obviously that's a big ask for us. And in return for that, you get to gather these protons and mint to Reyu for free.
And I like the gamified concept of that, just in general. I like the ideology behind it.
Well, like, it's a very interesting take, right, on whitelisting meta, right? Like, before, you just grind a whitelist. Oh, grind a whitelist. And like, we felt like that was dead, right? And like Johnny and I, we talk about that pretty often, and that was a sentiment that we share. And so, like, allowing the community to own these collectibles for free, and their franchise story, right? The lore, they're really cool looking on top of that, and they earn protons at the same time. It was just a no-brainer for us, right? And I think it works, and the community's been loving it. And look, 9,000 claims in less than an hour. I love it. It's resonating well. Tony, what excites you about collectibles?
Well, I'm excited about. I mean, you can give out whitelists a lot of different ways, and probably bots suck up a bunch of them as well. But we decided to do something really fun, and we're from the game industry. We want to have fun with the community, so we decided to make a little bit of a game out of it. So it's important to understand with the collectibles, as you collect these first tier ones, we'll release a board, and you'll have basically be able to create sets and create a next tier one, and those additional tiers will become more and more valuable. So even the whitelisting of our Ryus and other characters, we're doing it in the form of a game. We're trying to get people involved. We're also trying to teach and educate at the same time. Remember, we're trying to bring gamers in the space that may never have had an NFT before. So we're trying to educate them through a free system on the collectibles, trying to get them very involved with that. We're also trying to tell each collectible that you have has a sentence or two of a bit of the story, so they kind of come in sets to tell a little section of the story. So we're trying to educate the breadth of the story and the environment and the universe that we're doing. You have to remember, we're not building a single game, although that would be cool, even to do with with the system that we're doing, the characters. But we're actually trying to build a very large franchise. Like I said, we have 25 writers cranking out amazing stories throughout the Unioverse. We just finished the first comic book. We have a series of 6 comic books coming out in the spring. We have novels being written in the space. We have authors doing collections of stories and anthologies. So it's just you have to think of this as like Star Wars or Marvel Universe, that there's going to be a bunch of games, a bunch of comics, novels that you can have. And the beauty of the whole thing is you guys own it. And it's a very novel concept. We're trying to do something radically new that the community owns us. And it really excites me. So the collectibles is just the first step to get people involved, to get them to understand what we're doing. And I think once they understand what we're doing or get it, even a 20,000 collection is going to be tiny, because when you pull gamers into the space, you go from tens of thousands of people collecting NFTs to literally millions to tens of millions of people collecting them, because they have true utility. They're your entrance pass. That's the only way you're getting into our games.
One thing I wanted to touch on too, just to be
I hope I'm not talking over someone this time. I apologize for that last time. I didn't mean to. I had seriously. Anyway, you don't need to hear about my technical troubles. One thing I want to do, if people are interested in sort of how the Unioverse is being built, Grant and I co-host a podcast. Oh, did I do it again?
It's all good.
That is great. For whatever reason, I have muted, I guess, Grant. So I apologize. If you want to find out how we're building the Unioverse, we've got a couple of podcasts you should listen to. Grant and I co-host one called The Jump Pod, where we talk about all things Web3 and gaming. It's super fun. And last week we had on our legal team from Ashbury talking about this. Tony was talking and Wyatt have been talking about a community-owned franchise. And we get into, you would think it's going to be boring talking about sort of the legal machinations of a content license, but it's actually a lot of fun. And I think you'll learn a lot from it. And it's good. And then the other one is World Building Secrets that our coworker Zuzi Dabrowska does. And she has a really exciting one dropping tomorrow with Stephen Graham Jones, the author of The Only Good Indians and My Heart is a Chainsaw. And that's going to be amazing. She talks with people about how to build worlds worthy of devotion. So I want to plug those. And then I'm going to shut up now and not talk over anybody else, because that's evidently all I'm doing today.
I love having Chris A as a co-host. He never cuts off. It's just technical difficulties. That's all. One thing I wanted to, just state real quick, just from a, bird's eye view from just Web3, but more importantly, the Unioverse side. We're here to stay, right? We're here to build with the community. We're here to build the next big blockchain franchise, the first, I would say, AAA franchise of its own, right, where the community owns every aspect of it. And to reiterate that, we're not going anywhere. We know there's a lot of, tension in the market. There's a lot of people, they're not doing well, a lot of projects that are not. We are VC backed. We're backed by Polygon and Symmetric, just a few. So we really want to instill that confidence into our community and anybody that's looking at us to join the community. So we're here. We're passionate about building. We have two of the most credible, if not the most credible, co-founders in the space, Tony and Wyatt. So we're very lucky to be working with them. Well, you know what? We want to be conscious of our time. We're about 20 minutes from the hour. We are, we're probably coming up on 10,000 claims, hopefully in the next couple of minutes, which is awesome. So congrats to the community, and we're rolling here. Let's bring up some people to ask some questions, right? We have Ice Knife, we have Johnny, two huge influencers and personalities and project leaders in the space. We have Sam, we have Wyatt, Tony. Let's bring up some people. Samuel, how are we feeling about bringing up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can bring some people up. Just raise your hand if you want to say something, and also we have questions from our Legends Lounge that we can kind of fill in between the live questions.
Let's Sam, why don't we ask a Legends question while we get some people up here?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can fire off a Legends question, and just once again, if you would like to say something, just raise your hand, and me and Grant can get you up. So we have first question: what is the estimated timeline for the first 3 games the team will be developing?
I'll take that. So one of the tracks that I think we've mentioned it here. You'll see it in several of our videos. Go to YouTube and you'll see posts for what we call our Danger Room. That is literally what our first game in development, and what we're doing is showing avatar utility, and you'll kind of get an idea of the direction that that's going. But it's exposing to the community, you guys, how a game is built and how you can see functionality evolve over time. Then we're going to tackle a couple of other games, probably a vehicle game. Really, we think of these first 3 games as our opportunity to solve a bunch of complicated problems for developers so that when we open up this SDK to everyone to work on, we're providing all that code to them and saying, hey, here, we're kickstarting not only with assets, not only with a community, but with game engines and solving complex IK problems and physics surface solutions, giving all of that back to game developers to make all of the future games. So I would say that you'll see us develop these first 3. Probably the first one will come out as quickly as 2 years from now, and then maybe one every 6 months after that. Something like that will be the timeline. But you'll be watching us do the development on all of that as it goes. And obviously, everyone who's got a Reyu will be participating, or any of our characters will be participating in early alphas and participating in talking to the game developers and giving us feedback. And this is your game. These are your avatars. You get to take this ride with us.
Amazing. Awesome. Thanks for that. We've got a couple people have come up as speakers. We've got Fast has had his hand up for a very long time. He might be getting tired. Did you have a question that you wanted to ask there Fast?
Hey guys, it's Fast. Yeah, no, I really didn't really have too much of a question besides how do I get whitelist, and then 2, yeah, I saw my my mentor down there. I don't know if you guys know No Face Girl. She's like a college mentor. She just waved to me. Hey, what's up? Yeah, that was pretty much it. How do I get whitelist? And I was going to talk about the Fortnite stuff, but
yeah, the whitelist, right? It's about collecting these collectibles fast, and collecting these collectibles will trigger that earning of protons. And come January 8th, you'll have that opportunity to redeem those protons to redeem a Reyu. Awesome. We have, I want to say Babe Black, 8294. You've had your hand up, or you requested to speak. Do you have a question for Tony, Wyeth, Ice, or Johnny?
Maybe they're just having some difficulties. We've got Chris Six. Chris Six, did you have a question there, mate?
Yeah, good evening, sir. Good evening, guys.
Good evening. Yeah.
Okay. My question goes like this. Like you said the collectibles you need to get or collect more collectibles to stand chance to get the hero whitelist, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. I want to ask, those with the legendary claims, yeah, that for instance, now when you claim all the collectibles in the claiming windows, you participated in the claiming windows and you claim all of them, will you still stand a chance to get a whitelist without getting more collectibles from buying from OpenSea also?
Yeah, I think I'll take that. If you've been collecting them all, when Reyu mints, you should be able to buy one, but it will be a first come, first serve, right? So on the day that it mints, you show up and click the button, and you'll be able to buy one if you. Hopefully, everyone in this community gets one, but obviously we can't guarantee that. There's only 20,000 of them. I think Brian might be also doing some giveaways, so keep an eye on that. You can just get Reyu if you engage with some of our social activities. But you're on the right track. You should not have to buy anything off OpenSea if you're just participating.
Okay. Thank you. That's my question. Thank you.
Awesome, bro. That kind of segues into our next question we have from Legends Lounge as well, is how many protons does it take to secure my Reyu on midday?
We haven't released the exact number. We probably will a couple of weeks before the event. But as I just said, if you are heavily participating, you're in good shape.
Okay, awesome. And then we do have another good one that's tapped onto that. When can I forge? And maybe we can explain a little bit about how that works or what we're able to release.
Yeah, I don't think we touched upon that in this Founders Corner. But if you troll through some of our older posts, you'll see a site that has that wireframed. You'll see some of the leaked art showing what the combined page looks like. If you don't have no idea what I'm talking about, essentially you can take some of these, what we call tier 1 collectibles that we free mint, and you can forge them. You don't burn them, you don't lose them, you forge them and combine them and then unlock a higher rarity NFT. And that's going to be done through a website that is just being alpha tested right now and should be out within probably the next couple of weeks. And when that site comes out, there'll be an article released by Chris and I that explain all of the specific details, but it's as simple as going to that site, clicking Forge, and getting a higher value NFT.
Amazing. I just noticed another one of your bros has jumped in. We've got Angelo here from the Soul Army. Did you have a question there, mate? And welcome to the space.
Yeah, thank you, bro. So I was just asking that how to get whitelist for Reyu.
Angelo, we actually share some common friends. This is Grant, Web3. I come from the DGOS community as well, friends with Frank. Let me message you on the side, but we would like to work with you in some capacity, of maybe, giving some whitelist or working with you on how to get some collectibles in your community's hands. So let me hit you with the DM outside, and we can chat more.
Yeah, bro. Thank you very much. My DMs are always open. You can
Of
just
course.
contact them.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, bro. We also have Crypto Guru up here. Crypto Guru, welcome. Did you have a question there, mate?
Hi guys. I think there was a link posted initially for a free mint, and now you are saying that we need to earn certain tokens. So if you sign today, would you have enough on Jan 8 to mint one Reyu, or is it slightly different? Could you explain that whole mechanism? Thank you.
Yeah, the sooner you start collecting, the better. If you start today, I can't guarantee that you'd have enough protons for Reyu on mint day, but you likely should. There is no cap to our how many people can claim. So right now, I think we're at 11,000 claims in just the one that we're doing right now. By the way, go claim that one. And hopefully our community starts snowballing. So we would like to see, a huge audience of people collecting these collectibles, gaining protons. As it was mentioned, this is the first 20,000 of a set of 100,000 Reyu. And soon after Reyu mints these 20,000, there's going to be 20,000 Krishas and then 20,000 Toro Janks. So take a look at that document that I believe is pinned in this chat. But worst case, if you did not have enough protons, or you did and you didn't get to claim one of these 20K, those protons are used in the next character mint. And so you want as many as you can. This is really our way to turn your time and attention into value and participating in the community. Or participating in the community-owned franchise. So, it is never too late. Please join. Please give us your attention.
Yeah, and
Okay,
when people
sorry.
when they buy the Reyu, the protons that they spend on that are gone. So then they can't just hoard them, unless they're hoarding massive amounts of collectibles. And so if you ended up not getting Reyu, which I think most will be able to get one, you're just first in line for the next character that comes out, and they'll continue to accumulate as well. So you'll be in good shape.
Yeah, sounds good.
This is still early on. So get involved.
So I just claimed my place on the list. So the protons or the tokens you're saying, or credits you're saying, are starting from today, and
they're starting from back when we started minting collectibles. So I believe we started minting legendary collectibles end of October. If you were part of our Legends group and minted some of those, and held them, you will earn some for those. You will earn some for everything that you collect. So collect and hold.
Okay, because I just joined today because Johnny, I'm part of TTO, so shout out to Johnny. He's doing wonderful. So that's the only reason I'm here. So today is my first day here. Thanks.
A lot of people collected them and immediately sold them as well. So they're not actually accumulating the protons as well. So by claiming yours and holding on to them, you will collect a lot more than the people who are doing a quick claim and trying to get a quick profit selling them. So hold them, and you should be able to get even more valuable characters and heroes.
Before we head to the next question, and I know we have a couple, and we still want to try to stay as much as we can inside the hour mark, but we actually just pinned the tweet in this space of what the Reyu is going to look like. So take a look at that. Click that link. There's a really cool full high-res video of what Reyu will look like, the 3D render, and a lot more detailed information on that. So shoot that a retweet, shoot that a like, give your opinion and your feedback under the comments section. We'd love to hear it, and hope you guys are excited. But let's get to a couple more questions, Sam.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone, make sure you check out that trailer. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm sure everyone's going to go wild. We have another great question. Sorry, we got some people up here. We'll take those ones first. So, Babe Black, you've had your hand up for a while now. Babe Black, did you have your question?
Okay. I want to start by appreciating the work which you guys are putting in to bring everyone into limelight. It's something different I see you guys are building. Okay, my number one question. This is a general question to the community. As regards to educational factor, what plans has the community set or will set to make sure that the newbies in the house or community are not left out or are being set to carry everyone along? My second question, security factor. What measures are being taken to secure or to make sure that people's funds are being secured and kept safe? Thank you very much.
I'll take the second question first because I don't think I actually caught exactly what the first one was. But in terms of security, we are using a 2FA, as I think everyone whose claims noticed. And by the way, our claim is still going on. We're almost at 12,000, so please keep going in and claiming those for free. We've been developing games for 20 plus years, all highly secure. We deal with Visa transactions and all sorts of monetization. This is a very professional team that's building the back end here. The specific technology we're using to capture and store phone numbers for 2FA is a combination of Twilio and Keycloak. You can go look those up. Those are bulletproof industry standard things. And we are not asking for any personally identifiable information other than your phone. Why are we asking you for your phone? Because we want real humans participating in this. We don't want bots here. We didn't want to do anything that looked like a full 2FA, but you'll notice we don't even ask for your email. We don't ask for your name. It is sort of the minimum thing that we could ask for and use that makes us make sure that there's a human being on the other end that's actually doing that claim. If someone can restate her first question, we might be able to answer it.
I caught the first part of it. So it was, how was the community, was it educating each other about the whole process, or what was the question exactly? Sorry. Oh, that's it. So, I mean, within our Discord, we have different roles. So we have our verified member, we have our legends role, and our super legends. And as a community member, you're able to, kind of rank up and kind of help on board and spread all of the message and kind of troubleshooting with each other. And that's kind of how we're continuing to educate, as well as through these founders corners and through our announcements. So we're trying to drop as much information that explains exactly how you can take advantage of getting involved in the community and getting these assets, and how to do that safely. And hope that answers your question.
And we continue to work with other individuals, mods in the channel. We're actually opening up different languages in our Discord, right? So we are working on those actively, and we continue to roll those out as they're needed, right? As we continue to work with other various communities and parts of the world. We have a couple more minutes to field some questions. It looks like I'm looking at Big Mike. Hey, Big Mike, are you there?
Hello, good evening.
Hey, good evening, man.
All right. Sorry, I just joined not quite long. I have a rather simple question. My question goes thus. For those, because I joined a little late, for those who are not legends on the Discord, are they supposed to claim the 30 public ones? Are they going to get the whitelist for the upcoming projects, or they also have to buy the NFTs for the legends on the secondary to make them eligible for the whitelist?
Yeah, this is probably a really good opportunity for us to really dive deep in here, Wyeth, on how to actually get a Ryu. So do you want to cover some of the topics, including whitelist giveaways to influencers like Ice, Johnny, Angelo, and then of course protons and collectibles?
Yeah, I'll hit the notes again. But before I do, let me call out that, hey, legend status in Discord is still something you can get, and it's still something you want. Legends get early notice on our mints, and they get early alpha on everything that we're doing. So join our Discord, participate in the community. That is mostly handpicked from people that the current mods and our super legends recognize as being contributors, evangelists, but you want to participate in that. So the second question is, do you need to go back and buy any NFTs? No, I think we've already hit that. Just start collecting. And if you start collecting and start paying attention, turn on your alerts for Twitter, get these free claims, you'll be happy with where you end up. We can't necessarily guarantee everyone's going to get a Ryu in this mint. It's going to be first come, first serve. But holding protons is exactly what's going to unlock all the future characters in the Unioverse, and that participating is its own reward. You'll be able to participate in not just this one mint that we're doing. We're doing many mints. Go look at the doc that's linked on this chat, and you'll see a lineup of the current, I think, 6 characters we've announced. You'll actually be able to see the progress of those being built and inside of our game engine, so you'll know who they are prior to them even being released for their mints. A lot of people already know Ryu's backstory because that's been coming out in some of our storytelling that we're leaking. But again, the high notes here are collect our collectibles. Those claim windows are free. Those will start immediately earning you protons, and protons are used to unlock characters and, by the way, also vehicles and other things inside of the Unioverse.
Awesome. Sam, do we want to do 1 or 2 more questions?
Yeah, we've got one live question, and then see how we're going for time. Potentially one more for legends, and then we can kind of start to wrap it up, I think. Banana Tinder NFT. Do you have a question there, mate? An interesting name.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, just 2 questions, honestly. So first, will there be any snapshots taken for holding the potens, or will there be any some sort of announcements or snapshots? And the second question is, since this is basically a free mint, I'm just wondering how you guys will sustain the project long run.
Can you what do you mean by snapshots?
Because you mentioned there will be
it would be to verify ownership wise. It's pretty much it verifies your ownership of the NFTs at a certain time and place.
Here's what that looks like, and I think this will answer a couple of questions. You'll go to our Proton site, you'll log in with your Unioverse account just like you do for the claim. You connect your wallet, and then we look and see how many 24-hour periods you've had where you've held that NFT that's currently in your wallet, the collectible. And for each one of those, you'll see a little printout. There's a diagnostic log that says, hey, on the 14th, we see that you had 5 collectibles in there. This is how many protons you got for that day. So it will be very straightforward in how that works. And, again, if you just start collecting and hold them, you're going to get exactly what, you'll be very happy with how the system works. Remind me what the second part of that question was?
Yeah. The second part of the question. Yeah, the second part of the question is how we will sustain the project with the giving away the free NFTs. I mean, if you look at other NFT projects, there's more and more free ones being given primarily because there's more and more projects out there. But then they trade up in value, and every time they trade, there's a creator royalty that gets paid to the team. What's really key for us is when we traditionally do a video game, we lose 30% of the revenue immediately to Apple, Google, or Steam. It's just gone. Then, in order to be seen in the charts, no one will buy a game unless it's towards the top of the charts. We have to spend huge amounts of money in user acquisition, which means 80% of our revenue is just gone. What we're trying to do now is by the trading of the characters and the NFT royalties that we receive, that will replace the revenue that we typically make, which is small, from selling our games to the marketplace. So that's the new revolutionary model that we've done. And we're also VC backed, so we have millions of dollars from VCs. As long as we continue to build the community and we show that the community is very interested in us, we can keep going back to them as well for additional funding to build this project bigger and bigger. But eventually it should be sustainable just from people are required to have a Reyu or one of the other heroes to play our games. They must go out and acquire one. If you guys go out and grab all these ones free now, someone needs to get that one later on. So the only way they're going to get it is to be able to acquire it from you guys. So you guys will make the money from that transaction, and a percentage that will come to us for what we call the maintenance of the universe, maintaining it and continue to building it out. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. That's perfect. Thank you.
By the way, I did probably a couple podcasts now, but one just came out this week that we tweeted out that talks at length about our stance on creator royalties and the future of NFT marketplaces. So if you want to hear me drone on about that and why it overlaps with the Unioverse, there was also some leaked alpha footage in that podcast. I think it's up on our YouTube channel.
Awesome. So we've got one more question. We're cutting it close for the hour, so we'll stay courteous for everyone's time here. But we have a Legends question asking what other assets does the team plan to produce within this kind of whole IP of the Unioverse?
As I mentioned, if you go look at the pinned news article that we released today, you'll see a lineup of several of the characters we're working on. You'll also see on the right side there, I believe, one of our aliens called the Servitors. They'll be introduced in the storytelling soon. But big picture, what we will be building are character avatars and heroes. And at face value, you can see what those look like as literally playable characters. But you can imagine in a game like a Death Race Mario Kart, you might need both a vehicle and a character inside of that vehicle. So things that represent the players are sort of what we are building. I've been asked a couple of times in the past, are we building out the environment art? Are we building out, we are not taking on the responsibility of building out all of the game content. Our vision is to hand avatar content and an active community wanting to play as those avatars to game developers. And so that's where you'll see the focus of our effort.
Awesome. Well, I think this is a good time to wrap this space up. Look, we're very excited to announce, Reyu's coming January 8th in 2023. You will be able to free mint this with Protons, earning collectibles, whitelist giveaways to your favorite influencers. So we will be working with many influencers, projects, guilds, and communities on giving out some whitelists, but also, ultimately important is also claiming those collectibles. So really excited to be working with some various like-minded individuals. Huge shout out to Ice Knife, Johnny for joining. You guys are awesome. We always appreciate talking to you guys. Very like-minded individuals in the space. So thank you for sharing the space with us. You can go ahead and contact me at GrantWeb3. That is GrantWeb3 on Twitter for any whitelist or giveaway for Reyu. I will be sending out a series of messages and links for that. So if you're interested in doing a giveaway or anything whitelist or any additional questions, please hit me on my personal GrantWeb3. So awesome job, guys. Thank you, Wyeth. Thank you, Tony. And we're excited to be minting these guys out January 8th. So keep collectibles, join the Discord. And Wyeth, you want to end something?
Me? What?
No, I saw you go on mute, so I was like, okay, maybe Wyatt wants to jump in here.
No, but thanks, Ice. Thanks, Johnny. Guys, it was great. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Remember, this is your project. The more people that get involved with the project, the bigger it's going to be. Check out our Discord if you want to learn how to make games. We're sharing everything throughout the entire process of how we make this game, and how we make the artwork, the music, trailers, etc. I think it's pretty interesting to follow along.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Wyatt. Thank you, Samuel. And of course, huge shout out to Ice, Knife, and Johnny. Go shoot them a follow. Some of my favorite people to follow on Twitter. So stay tuned. More information coming, and we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you.